consistently throughout history has brought the best out of his players. I'm imagining FooXi's just another one of those. So a massive opportunity. You know, it sucks when I look at Astralis and I'm like, oh, they're not Danish anymore. They're just another international team. MIBR as well. They're getting Klim from G2 Academy, and they've got him on loan, and it's so random. And I mean, they are fully in South America. They're playing events in South America, online events in South America. Like, the culture shock must be insane. You know, I mean, we don't really know, but now these two are going to throw down. I got it. You know, Astralis are a heavy favorite here, but we're going to see if MIBR can show us why they made the trip.
It's a quick contact towards the B site. We get a fallback from Ryu and a pause because it's all about this Palace play, Mohan. Bomb in 3, and Astralis not biting down just yet. You've already given HooXi kind of a quick credit. We'll go beyond that. He's the last great Danish in-game leader. It's really come down to that, Mohan. Everybody else is having their struggles, but not HooXi. Still sitting at the top, #1, banking on these young friars like Ryu for the fast headshot. And then we get this patient move by Stare. So garbage is held on to. Flynn doesn't get his spray immediately, but he'll still find it. Now eyes on FooXi if he wants to try to flush them back off of this bomb site. Mid lurk getting caught is big here for Jabby, but he is tied down to 8. And it feels like Klim sees that as the space to go for. Kind of flushed out a CT spawn, by that hold, knowing the numbers are coming in. Klim decides to go back to the ramp, and Venom Zera clips off Ryu at least. Ooh, nice. As well on HooXi through that box. The low HP of Jabby could have made a difference, but it's a nice, clean retake here for Astralis. FooXi with the kit.
Yeah, I mean, Jabby, if he dies, there is a little bit of trouble on 8 HP, and FooXi could get run down. But with the kit, a little bit of health, that fresh smoke as well, and on the right side of default, Astralis come out with the first round, and the shots looked very good to kick off. I think, you know, if we're going to see an upset here from MIBR, would start with some poor mechanics, I think, from Astralis. So that's not what we're getting right now. And I think Astralis are just full of hope at the moment. You know, every game they come into, they're like, we have so much to prove. We know we can make deeper runs. We have been disappointing and impressive all at the same time. So I feel like that trend line leads to an event like this and goes, here's where your, you know, real standout performance happens.
Try to rinse and repeat.
Being watched actively.
Yeah, FooXi's not going to let you exit. Clean mow down. Oh, triple kill for FooXi. All too easy. Trying to get up into those window shenanigans, and Stares got you cut off on that side as well. So MIBR try to rinse and repeat with better weapons, but they definitely don't get the value out of that. So let's write this one off. Say Astralis convert to 0. And isn't it wild to think, Mo, in the grander scheme of an Astralis organization that just struggled to make majors for years, that this is the lineup that then just kind of has pressure off, gloves off, sitting back, relaxing, watching all these other orgs scramble, laughing at the ninjas in pajamas as they come up short this time around. And instead, we've got FooXi donning more stickers.
I think for sure. I mean, you know, there's IGLs like, you know, maybe Shuhei, because he played with Mauser, hasn't really shown that he can play with superstars or random ones. HooXi definitely has. When he played with G2, he brought the best out of MongolZ. Him and Nico and that team put together a really, like, they were the team after Na'Vi to almost get an era going or something. Like, they set up all these map win streaks on Inferno. They had like that 70% T-side win percentage. They won the Blast World Final into like Katowice back-to-back. Like, they were doing really, really good things. But I think there became a point where, like, players with his new lineup on Astralis, they were the same sort of legendary status, but they were well past their prime. And there kind of just needed to be fresh blood for him to work with. Now it feels more like Copenhagen Flames again.
And isn't that where we all want to still be?
Yeah, definitely.
Here's HooXi with a challenge. Desert Eagle's in front of him. Nades off the windowsill, soften up 3. Let that one phase out.
It's got to be, you know, the best environment for someone like Stare too, because I think Stare was set up to fail with just how much he was surrounded by all these top dogs that were actually kind of washed, but stealing a lot of spotlight from him and taking a lot of space. And no matter how they organized it, I think he actually always performed quite well to make the most of his roles. But now I think this team has like the best chance.
Losing Rayo under pressure. Desert Eagle comes through with the clean one. Recovery's underway. Stare is over already through the jungle, just kind of making sure that they're caught out in the no man's land. No utility there to cover it. Really gave Stare his angles. Despite the clean Desert Eagle headshot, still worried that another player could fall, so CT's a bit tempered in these duels, but the more the merrier as far as Astralis are concerned, and now all three remaining players here on the scene. So LNZ, trying to catch a flip off, but nah, Ryu's gonna have this locked in, showing us good patience at 7 seconds. Yeah, LNZ knows his hands are tied. It's got to make his move. So sweet on sweet action, and LNZ down for the count. So 3 survive for Astralis, 3-0 for Astralis. It's about everything you could ask for as the MIBR guns come through.
MIBR a very strange team. There's no other
Yes,
way
they
to look
are.
at it. Yeah, like we got Insani on this roster, and you think if you got a Brazilian team that have Insani on the roster, you should just be like you should have one of the strongest teams with some of the most expensive players. But I think obviously there are a lot of rumors about how much those players cost in Brazil, and it does create an interesting opportunity to get European, but they don't even get like. They don't even try to make a big transfer from European teams, trying to build up with some guys like FooXi. I mean, it's LNC and FooXi are in a similar category in terms of how long that we look at them as sort of academy tier players and, how ready they might be to make that jump up. And when you think about like, where can I find an IGL or something like that? Like you could put them on that list. It's probably the role where eventually you're going to have to take the risk because you're not getting Alexi B or Apex, to come to Brazil. So
and try to build them up.
Yeah,
it's a good chance for LNZ as well. You want to talk about the comparison with FooXi. You have to remember FooXi's been on Rare Atom, Wildcard. This guy's played Asian Counter-Strike, North American Counter-Strike, went back to European CS. LNZ's dipping his toes in that right now. And HooXi is drowning in the pressure that ends up hitting this B bomb site. So well-timed split just kind of pops out on him as that mid-control with the window smoke and drawn the rotate back into the marketplace. Stare not on the site there to help HooXi. Means the bomb goes down with ease. 4v4 if they want to queue up this retake. They're going to give FooXi a chance to look in as they go triple inside the market. And then a deep flash on Catwalk just to make the rumblings of the retake. But Jabby's still a bit out of position, so it's going to take him some time. And Stare gets traded 1-for-1. Drag to the bench, util to the bench. That's going to be the death of BR and Nazen unless he moves. Finds refuge. And so they won't find this retake attempt. Just really clean timing for MIBR's sudden 3-player apartment pop.
Getting all those kills.
And exits. Yeah, it's going to rack up some damage. It's a very costly round both sides, but MIBR are on the scoreboard at the end of the day. That matters most.
The way they fought actually makes a lot of sense. I think they made it so that MIBR absolutely had to fight their way out of all those good spots they had. So they kind of said, okay, you take that entry. We had Cat open. We only had 1 player in B. We don't really deserve to win this round. But if you make a ton of mistakes, we'll win. If not, it's going to be so expensive. If you're buying next round, someone's going to be, on an SMG of some sort. We've got LNZ picking one up, and Astralis have the money to make a move like that. And I think that's how you put economic pressure on the other team when you're in the lead. Just don't ever let them build up a really big bank. So we've got one Galil, you got the SMG, and that was a bit more pressure on MIBR to make it consecutive. Oh, LNZ says, I'm gonna just go for the Galil.
While CTs keep $30,000 in equipment values. So hang on to the op, FooXi. Let's see what you got. 6-2 was his start. Stare right there with him. 2 pieces tethered towards this A site, so it is that sudden HooXi contact that cost them 1, but popped open smoke grenades top middle. LNZ dead first, and that's going to be the man advantage Astralis wanted to flex towards middle.
Yeah, it's tough because they just were setting up a double HE to kill him opping in connector, and they got counterplayed with that smoke getting broke open at top mid. Yeah, 1 step behind.
I'll go for the mid boost instead. Stare prepared for this.
Oh.
But Sonic hits a ripper of a headshot. And now that's going to divide the Astralis camp. 2-2 per bomb site. Jabby's still trying to keep eyes on something. You don't want to give away all that real estate, but it has drawn HooXi back from the B site. And you see the positioning inside of the apartments.
Is he insane?
Him and Insani blocking horns.
And they keep him busy. And Sonic can kind of taunt him from this spot and go lurk wherever he wants. Gabby's got to hold this off kind of by himself for a second. HooXi's moving into the site. Oh, and they're full committing. Could be good for HooXi.
By HooXi. And in time, Jabby's got the line from Catwalk and further damage. HooXi cleaned that one up. And we get this retake needed yet again. VenomZera and Klim 2v2. Had a chance with the timing to get deeper into the marketplace. But if Klim oversteps, Op is waiting for him to make his move.
Yeah, and they are trying to wait
to kill it. Yep, that's the way in.
Oh, what health?
1 HP.
Why does FaZe know exactly where he is, though? He's like trying to follow him into this corner.
And then you've got Ryu coming up from Catwalk. He's going to catch VenomZera first. That 1 HP doesn't make a difference. Oh, it sure does. It gets at least FaZe down, but Ryu's got the trade. The 2 kills needed off of the Catwalk retake, and Astralis keep one alive. Well done by HooXi to get back into the bomb site, and even better by Jabby to find that angle as they fell down out of the apartments into him. Just enough from the B site this time.
They really handled that well. I mean, they looked so good as a team. Every move you would make, I think, is the same move that we would, make with full vision. First of all, counter-plan the tactics. So even though they lose a player in window, and Science takes out there, it doesn't really matter. HooXi knows that he's getting stopped by somebody on the flank, but they also don't want to just give up their position and come in too early. So he says, I'm calling your bluff. I'm going to help defend this B site. And him and Jabby do just enough to make the retake happen. Every step of the way, no one gets a multi-kill. It's really on the retake that for those last 2 guys, where it's just more good chess moves being made in each of those moments to make sure they can instantly trade.
That's wild, Mo. Slim margin too. 1 HP for Klim right after the frag grenade. He locks into the corner outside of Market. In that replay, the dink audio. So that was Ryu who gets hit by an AK-47 headshot, but through the edge of the box for, 70 some odd damage. Just manages. You could argue that nade could have finished him off and it all would have been smooth sailing, but damn, tries to make the most of it, Klim. And, well, they're going to have to do the same this time with the force buy back for MIBR, not wanting to concede this small bit of momentum that they were hoping to get their hands on. SMGs, Desert Eagle, awkward one here for MIBR, but they'll try to work the map towards top middle with just kind of blank flashbangs, no move behind it. It's really this grouping up inside of the apartment. So a clear affinity for MIBR to this B bomb site at the moment. We'll see if HooXi can handle the heat this time around.
Yeah, I don't want to say that they're oversimplifying, but every time they go B, HooXi was caught off guard one time, but all other situations, they've had 2 here. They have the right spot.
Pops in front of him. Jabby's in within the smoke, and good for the double kill. Now HooXi's MP9 looking to shred, but he's at least delayed timing here. It's a little bit awkward as they jump out because now 2 CT players already inside of the marketplace. And Klim is hoping that HooXi oversteps as he's just got this piece of cover. LNZ finds the first. And as far as taking the site goes, but Catwalk denied, spare low HP, as is now Klim. And we get FaZe trying to scour site with that off. Oh, Klim goes big, trades good. FaZe 1v1 now versus an Insani who still doesn't have that bomb and still is just working with the MAC-10. Oh, but he gets damage off. And now he's going to go for this priority on the plant. Flushes him slightly off, but doesn't fully spread it. So Insani's got this small bit of refuge as FaZe's just trying to play this one patiently. And Insani's worried that the retake's already underway, but FaZe just leaning back and waiting, hoping for that. Insani gets cut down, squeezed in that MAC-10 situation. Astralis close, but coming through again.
I mean, is FaZe a genius? Or
he always has been.
I think so. Maybe just always was. The way he, naded Klim and followed him into that corner and kind of knew exactly how that retake would go. Here in this spot, throwing that molly down, and I was thinking, you can only exit left here unless he runs through that Molotov. But he sits and waits and reads exactly how Insani is going to assume he would approach. Really, really well done, and didn't overreact when I think he hit him with the op, but threw the wall for very little damage. He might not have even realized.
Oh,
yep, he's a genius.
Insani caught out. This is MIBR trying to play with a bit of tempo. Smoked off bottom mid as LNZ. That Galil will be kind of cut off as 3 players just creep their way out ramp. Make it 2 because FooZi's on the move. An 11-3 start for him. And still more kills to be had inside of the site. Bear is going to come out with the assist. And so that one just falls flat on its face. MIBR try to take their move over towards that A site, looking to dodge a bit of maybe kind of predictable repetition towards B. Well, what do you know? You stomp on FooZi's ground, and he'll answer the call to action. Another multi-frag for FooZi. Rock solid op presence on the defense so far. And this is what really Astralis needed, because a lot of these rounds have been on the knife's edge, have been these B site retakes with a single player left. We're looking at a real chance now for Astralis to build up some bang.
Yeah, it's true that MIBR could have won a couple rounds now, but like honestly, it's just that they're something cool. LNZ.
Another one.
That's a
Come
couple
on.
of kills.
Come on. Big swing back. Third kill here would be massive for LNZ. But Nade's got his name on it. Jabby finds him as he tries to sprint away. Still majority alive. And some AKs for your efforts, gentlemen. Astralis comfortable in the 6-1 lead.
Very comfortable. I'd say it's barely even competitive right now. Even though MIBR can make it into the one-on-one, it's only off the back of like a great shot on a great trade or something. But in terms of who's making the smart move, it's Astralis every single time. They're the ones who are dictating how every single round starts. They're the ones who are winning retakes, which should be difficult. And their site defenses are the one area where they're not always getting multi-kills. That's why the retakes have to happen. But they're still getting 1 or 2 kills there. The only time that they failed an entire site hold is the only round that MIBR won. Other than that, Astralis have had full control. They've been able to flex how smart they are with all the rotations. They're able to show off how good FooZi is right now, and they're closing out of the 1v1s too. So, it's very possible this game gets even worse for MIBR. I think they're making them look way too simple.
Momo, they'll try their damnedest here with the boost up top middle. The Galil that has to be for LNZ. It's a deep ramp peek out of FooZi. What I love about FooZi is when he's having a game, when the confidence is high, you can just feel it. I mean, his opponent's definitely doing this one. Starts to make those opening gambits, starts to take up more and more space. I feel like he's always kind of been that guy. Again, it was always hard to read the Academy League. I mean, even back watching like MongolZ NXT, we're like, are these guys really that good? Went on to become just this incredible world-class core. Oh, and the timing here for the mid pop. Insani's dodged it through the smoke, but trade frag's good by Stair. Stair is always good for the trade. Reliable piece, as he's 9-5 as well. But yeah, this round goes up in smoke, and Astralis 7-1. It always finds a way.
Whoever did the scouting for the Academy League was adding so much value to being the top 10, the future of so many rosters. And like FooZi is one of the guys who went to like an esports school, right, in Sweden.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Wow.
So he's an academic Counter-Strike player.
Yeah. Yo, this guy reads books. And VenomZera currently reading setups because he's halfway through this 1 versus 4. He's got a separated 1v1 inside of the site versus HooXi. Not saying HooXi can't kill him, but VenomZera could have had cover. Yeah, could have had cover. Plants in the open. HooXi buys his time, finds a guy with his hands busy, and takes advantage of the situation. So that one's secured with, again, at least 2 players still up.
VenomZera is another Academy player and someone who I was definitely a big fan of. But Furia Academy was interesting because those players never ended up going to Furia, but they did end up, adding to other teams. You had like No Go to Pain and who was it that actually?
That's about it.
No, Furia as well. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We got there. See if MIBR can squeeze their way into this A site, but feels like these defenders have been lights out. Nice to see that those retakes have kind of left a dent in MIBR's confidence, not thinking that they can just follow through on this bullying of HooXi, but instead trying to take the fight to the more defendable side. And FooXi, a little late to the party, just in the sense that Venom Zera had the cover from Palace. Jabby, it's a one and done. And so man advantage secured by MIBR. This has been an elusive man advantage. So for them to hold on to it, to plant that bomb once again, let's see what retakes look like on the A site here for the 14-5 FooXi. As HooXi remains smoked off, and we get this bottom mid control from MIBR. They've got deep ramp, they've got bottom mid, they've got these anchored positions. That kind of leaves Klim out on the open, but as long as he doesn't make an overstep, should have been good, but never mind. HooXi finds the angle up through the jungle retake. This is going to draw ramp player closer.
Yeah, no,
they're giving
no
so much space to Astralis.
Time is really on MIBR's side right now. It has to be stuck. Oh,
now you just got to cover the ramp. Yo, HooXi's on one. Gets stopped by Venom Zera.
Is there time?
It's close. Jumps back on it in the last second.
There actually might be. Oh. Wow, that is clutch. Looks up for the shot. He could have waited an extra second on the peak from ramp, but thought he had that in the bag.
Brother, HooXi with the ripping headshots. 2 of those 3 kills in that retake is all HooXi. But, I mean, don't you find that MIBR, they felt scared in that post plant? 3v2, you've got 2 anchored spots in ramping connector, but I mean, Klim just stuck behind the default box, ends up being kind of exposed to the jungle retake. Yeah. It just felt like so much space was given over, and obviously when it boils down to .0 of a second, a little more pressure to maybe delay it, we could see MIBR's second round. Untouchable right now, Astralis, and it's a faster tempo to this one with the fast connector play, and it's Sonny on the catwalk chase. Multiple players here. It's gloves off moment here for MIBR. They're just going to try to thrust their way up catwalk into this B defense, and so far so good. 2 kills back, and Jabby, yeah, he's got himself a second. All the while, HooXi has gone unnoticed up in the apartments.
Yeah, with the deep smoke and not spotting and Ryu killing the other side of the map. Bomb wants to come this way while they have fresh information, and Sani, he's on the hunt. They're going to start to lead, but this also means that HooXi, he can simply push this afterwards, and Ryu's about to cut one off, but who gets spotted? Wow, those are great shots. And now Bomb instantly will go down, and Sani, good luck.
Bomb has been planted.
Bill hasn't reloaded. 7 bullets in the magazine. In a 1 versus 2 where he's gone for a big reposition. There's the mag, and there's the retake coming through already from connector with 2 smoke grenades and a kit on HooXi. So HooXi's going to be our diffuser here.
They're going to see the smoke or the bomb planted really wide for CT. Would make sense to smoke it, but
could smoke bomb, could smoke CT as well. Flashbangs coming in. Looks like they've got the read with the flashes. Trying to find the cover. HooXi hoping that he's got the right angle. Oh, and Sonny with the headshot. And Ryu, he'll pick up the kill, but no time this time for Astralis. Go ahead, give MIBR a little morsel. A second round added to the scoreboard, but every single player dies on this one. And it's not a ton of cash either for the buyback. So tough go of it for MIBR, but probably just happy that they can finally put a post plant on the board.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's a fight in every single situation. Like when the game state is 5v5, 4v4, 3v3, like Astralis is just keeping up with all the kills that are coming in. So needs a clutch. MIBR need a clutch, and Sonny actually puts that up. We'll find out if it's a bit too late at this point in the half, but with 2 rounds to go and MIBR still on a buy, they have the utility to pull it out. It's pretty rickety here from Astralis, too.
They could just kind of limp over the finish line of the CT side. Obviously, would love the double digits. Feels like they'll get the double digits with just how consistent their retakes have been, their trade frags have been. Everybody just trying to ride FooXi's momentum. Very vacant middle this map. It's a huge B start so that they can play cat instead. And we'll see if this kind of a change up, whether HooXi's call to shake it up, catch LNC's setups off guard. Right now, looking at that mini-map, feels like it is indeed the right move.
Oh, man. They just want B, and Astralis know it.
Man, 2 players towards get right. Ryu trying to push forward. HooXi's just going to keep jump spotting, letting him know the audio here for BRN. He's going to think he can jump this, but you've got the bomb is tucked in. Back turn to him. Perfect bait switch by HooXi, and the delivery on the damage out of Stair. Oh, dude, it's not FaZe that's the genius, Mohan. It's HooXi.
It's HooXi, yeah. That was the perfect setup, and they heard him running and jumping and thought, oh, we'll just jump on this. There's only going to be one here. They're
so
probably in an A stack. I mean, Astralis are prescient once again.
Hook, line, and stinker. MIBR just can't puncture through that defense. Too many layers. LNZ giving a look at this. Obviously desperate for scraps in this T side. 4 rounds best case, but there it is. That was that moment he was hoping for. Somebody to make a misstep. If that kill happens, there's still time to try. Now instead, Ryu's hunts on, and you're going to find him swapping weapons in CT. LNZ, you're lucky to be alive, brother. You've gone from an op to a Galil. And, well, HooXi's going to come get you.
Okay. You'd think at the very least he would have just tried to keep that off, but I think they're like, okay, well, run away with the Galil then. That's kind of okay with us. We know that you're going to be forcing down anyway.
To be fair, CT economy can't afford an op of its own, so you get that out of FaZe's hand. He is the highest performing player in the server right now, and maybe a rifle to make him somewhat uncomfortable.
I got some more Fury Academy players. Cowes.
Hit me. Oh, okay.
Decenti.
God, time has flown by. If these are Fury Academy players of the time. Okay.
Yeah, that they produced a lot. They just never used them themselves. Shout out to Honda.
Are we getting old, Mohan?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I don't think that would be the answer.
Okay.
Any other answer that you can come up with?
That is funny that they never used them. Instead, they hired, oh yeah, that's right, Yakindar and Molodoy.
Yeah.
Final round of the half here for MIBR. A little ramp climb up for Insani. We'll see if we can bank on his entry potential. 5 CTs in middle.
They're kind of approaching this in an interesting way, but coming underpass is crazy with no top mid control. They are hoping that this just doesn't get held properly. They might get that.
Turn top mid, but
yeah, you know
Stair
what I mean?
with the presence.
You don't have anyone top mid, so
no, it's a bit too disjointed. And we've seen that kind of throughout the T side. Moments where they're just hoping to pop with numbers. He called it, simple. And, well, as far as FaZe is concerned, it's both simple and easy. 18 kills on the CT side. Astralis, a rock-solid 10-2 half. And need I add salt to the wound, MIBR's map pick.
yeah, that's very true. You count up the clutches and you have a much better half overall, but if you want to really contextualize these rounds, Astralis, I don't think they really felt scared. They were in full control of a lot of situations. They were hitting just as many shots and a few extra and had the better opper. They had really, really strong rotations and good reads on exactly which site it was going to be in the first place. So there's not a lot you could say in favor of MIBR, except except in some lost positions or middling positions, they still fought to make it close. So, yeah.
I think, MIBR, if the goal today was just to get enough on the T side, you look back to the 3 clutches that Astralis were able to win, and you think that could have been it. Catching the 1 HP Klim moment where he's finding a headshot through the wall bang. It's like you're so close to getting, 4, 5 rounds on a T side. And then we'd be watching this defense with a bit more interest, a bit more hope for MIBR that maybe the second side would be where they bank their rounds. But, well, clutches go the way of Astralis, 75% of them. On top of that, you've got FaZe playing rock solid, 4-1 in his opening duels. And we'll see what kind of a T-side HooXi calls out of the gate, because a pistol round here would be a death sentence for MIBR. We get a few bodies trying to clamber up into the B site.
Ooh, that
Utility
shuts him down
usage
pretty
here for
hard.
Ryu. Bomb's going to make a move up through connector, and still that utility delayed the rotate from MIBR. They hit the pause button. Insani hits the off button. Stare gets tagged in between the eyes. A bomb plant here for FooXi at the very least. We've got this pack of CTs ready to get this jungle retake going. 5v3 retake with a smoke and a kit.
Best post plant spots you could ask for, but a lot of CTs.
There's a whole lot of bodies coming FooXi's way. Needs the instant headshots and just hasn't found them. So Ryu's going to hope to find Back's turn to him. We'll see if they forget about Palace. Jabby's got the first kill for Astralis in this pistol.
Oh, he got it just barely. My goodness.
Just defused that before Jabby finds the headshot. Could have had more to stand on. MIBR will give themselves the best chance at a comeback with the pistol round win.
Very clean shooting. Absolutely. Insani just... Like, Insani, when someone showed up on his screen, man, he is hitting that first bullet. But like for the time being, when we think about MIBR, there have been stronger iterations of this lineup. There have been more promising ones. I mean, you know, lately it's just been like, let's get Insani to a better team, or let's get a better team around Insani. And they obviously tried to copy the Furia blueprint. I'm sure someone said, Klim is the Yakinder of 2026 or something like that, you know, and so, yeah, they take the risk. And Zera, oh, he sees ahead early. See ya. FooXi's too sharp.
Trying to keep the pressure on. FOKUS going through with flashbangs. They really want this duel for BRN. And HooXi dodges it for the most part. Just pause on the Galil. Put some damage back through. You've got Insani barely alive on 17 health, but everybody looking to just get away from that mid-clash now. They're just going to leave Stare out there. Oh, Stare and Ryu kills a piece, and you've still got Stare locked into the stairs, but remember, Insani's low HP. This is awkward. Oh, and so Stare picks it up. 2 kills from this pinned-in chair position. They thought they had him locked in, but he winds up being the monster of the moment. And Klim's 1 versus 4 is versus some low health bars, but they've already got the B site. He is on the opposite side of the map with that valuable M4 and full utility. So what's he going to do here when Astralis have nearly forced their way to an 11th round?
Oh, it's just too far away. You know, I think if he was in the market, he would have really tested that. And, you know, that's only a few seconds away, but I think Astralis would be quite happy because they don't have any more utility to stop this. HooXi's low. Ryu only has a deagle. One of those rare chances, I think, at 1-on-3 on the B site was actually possible, especially with the utility that he had. So I think the problem in this round for MIBR is like they're playing all Astralis' games. I mean, every time that they're fighting them, that's a very good damage for what it's worth. And Jabby doesn't want that smoke either, so okay. Problem is the 11th round, and when they fight here inside of middle, and this huge distraction just to walk in underpass from the deagle and get a kill, they don't have many advantages, Astralis. But what they did this round was they were able to hypnotize MIBR into trying to participate in these 1v1 duels that didn't really exist, fighting them behind the smoke, holding them inside of middle. MIBR desperately wanted to win mid back, but they didn't have the utility to scale, so they just stood there, jiggle peeked everything, and eventually Astralis, with their other players, were moving more. That's where they got the
just
flanks.
hoping that things would remain simple, but not the case.
Yeah.
And MIBR gonna let that one slip. It's funny that you said, you know, there are better iterations of MIBR. It's still an organization that will be playing in the Cologne Major, but it's also a roster that, if you go back one major, was playing Stage 2. Right? MIBR, one of the teams from the VRS of the Americas that got that Stage 2 invite. They have trickled down the rankings. They're now in Stage 1 with Liquid and Bestia currently behind them. So things are getting sketchier and sketchier as they try to struggle their way through to success. And they will do so here in this round too with 5-7s. It's a struggle, but they'll fire off point blank. BRN catching the kill over top of default. You've got Ryu down to 14 health, and it's gonna find him. So a little life left. That's kind of been the MIBR motto through these revamps. There's still a little left, and a lot of that from Insani. This round, a lot of that from Bruno.
That works, and Astralis are gonna tilt buy right back into this. Ryu says, "I have enough money for an AK." That's a full buy if you ask me. Yeah, better better iterations of MIBR in the past. The best one, actually, was also international, Connor.
Ooh, are you talking about the one with, oh, I don't know, maybe major champions Stewie, 2K, and Tarek?
Right. Hong Kong champions, SoTac Masters 2018. The only trophy that MIBR have ever lifted.
Just to confirm, that was with Coach Yanko.
Was it?
I don't know. No.
I don't think so. Well, actually, I have no idea. I can't remember back then.
Why do I? No, surely not.
Let's go ahead and look.
You know when an old rusty part of your brain tries to pop off? I think that's what that just was.
Maybe we are getting old.
Good trade from Ryu. Oh, that AK, you said it's... Oh, no! Insani doesn't pull the trigger. Insani wanted more, but instead he gets less. He could have just gunned down the one AK. Would have just been pistols in hand, but instead, who other than HooXi to save it with his 7th frag, pops you in the back of the bomb site. Insani's going to be beating himself up because if this forfeits over a 12th round to Astralis,
They're setting up the coolest flash ever, but there's no one even here in CT spawn. Shadow boxing as they go for this retake, and the T's are all very happy on their spots.
There's your parting gift, MongolZ. You can catch a kill and depart, but that's 2 survivors. And Mohan, I would like to report back with absolute certainty that Yanko was the coach of that MIBR.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Oh
imagine that. Imagine
Wow,
that.
I feel like that kind of lore, like we never talk about that.
I just remember him in
That
conversation not long ago saying how it's like, in order to win an event, we had to go all the way to Hong Kong.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know, he was talking about how nowadays these lands pop up all over the place. You know, you scoop up your VRS points in Europe. But yeah, Yanko, Tarek, Stewie 2K, fallen for Cold Sarah. And a fast move into the ramp, really wanting to get this job done. Klim's got other ideas. Gonna try to extend play here from MIBR. Gonna hold back that ramp commitment. Frag does soften up 3. Support is on the scene. And MongolZ is going to try to keep doing some lifting as this game refuses to end just yet. Bruno
they know
on
that
top
he's over here.
Firebox is just sat back there. There we go. Jabby gets flushed out. Bruno smoke's going to fade in a second, and that's going to actually cost him. Now they're trying to flash through with the bench peek. A little confidence coming out of MIBR, letting Astralis tiptoe their way out of the ramp, but that was a big push up the ramp that got stuffed pretty hard by Klim.
They want it to be a quick finish, but yeah, the trades are actually looking very nice here for Klim, and it looks like the A side is relatively locked down, obviously. Avoided tragedy with Insani on that previous round, so it becomes a 7-round game. We've got a timeout called. I think when you look at Astralis so far, they haven't really tried too much on T side. They've won 1 round on a default inside of middle. They've won with an A play. They're going to go in for a buy. This might be more of an economic thing than anything else, but I wouldn't be surprised if they try another set strategy.
I'm sure HooXi's got them up his sleeve. Astralis, a contender for playoffs. That's kind of what they want to be considered moving forward towards the major. It's one of the few chances left to kind of find that next level in form, to get that playoff experience. We saw it in Sweden.
Oh, man, they've taken down Foot, Spirit, Furia, FaZe, Foot again. Like who's beaten Foot twice? Both feet?
Both feet. Keep them held down. And it's Donnie with another double is going to stuff Astralis' attempt to rush this finish. Nice convincing defense for MIBR that would have benefited from a couple more rounds on the attack, would have benefited from not dying out to that force by round 2 of the second half, also known as round 14. This is going to be one of those what could have been maps for MIBR.
Oh, yeah.
But for the time being, Clement and Sonny going to show us what their CT rifle abilities have in store for us. And I think that's one thing that you can always bank on with Insani, right? We talk about the different iterations of MIBR and how he's just been a part of all of them since joining. This is really like the firepower that's supposed to tempt other players to come and join the roster. CT moves, like when I think of Insani, I still always just think of like Vertigo A ramp plays.
Yeah.
Because that's where I remember kind of like being impressed by him.
Yeah, we're old.
Hey man, maybe it's coming back. Maybe we're just ahead. But
yeah,
Sonny taps into it this round. 2K for him. Still a 6-round game. But now it's going to force Astralis into the saves.
Insani has excellent mechanics and doesn't make too many mistakes. I feel like that's sort of like where he stands. He's really not like he's not like Donk level, but you know, with the mechanics being as good as they are, he's got some of the flair. I think that he still needs a stronger team to really shine and take over consistently, though. He's owed it. This one's going to be a bit of a breather. Astralis come in with nothing. They obviously spent some time to talk.
Just not being a stranger about it. You run through underpass making all that sound. Yeah, it's about what you should expect. You tried to bait them out and get away in time, but play on the train tracks. Don't be surprised.
Okay,
Long drop bottom mid.
Shot.
Yeah. You're not getting out of there, buddy. The old 1v5 Glock attempt. Nope. So yeah, Venom Zera collects another round for MIBR, and they are inching closer and closer to an overtime. But obviously, guns up next for Astralis. We haven't seen the FooXi T-side op. Still cannot be afforded. So they're going to have to try to break through with rifles.
They don't seem to care. Yeah, like they're kind of just like the way that they're looking at this game. I think they felt very close to just closing out in a couple of these situations. They lost that anti-eco on the A ramp rush, and I think they're still mentally in that headspace of like, this game's basically done. And if they don't win this round, I think they'll start to feel differently. It'll really slow things down. But for now, it sort of does show that the confidence is quite high. Ooh. Oh, that was almost great timing.
There tries to jump on that off. Bruno stuck in default. This 5v4 secured by Insani. Is feeling the ability to, again, just kind of take these fights over top of the staircase onto his Liberty. Flash for the default peak. And that's Jabby with the kill instead. HooXi slips up in through connector, but then it's a sudden close. Once again, it is Clement and Insani. Once again, it is the multi-frags off of these rifles inside of the A site. Both those individuals catch a couple kills, and so lo and behold, we get that pause. Like you said, Astralis, I felt like confidence kind of trying to boil over through this T side. And some days you can just, you know, try to keep it simple. Try to rush it done. But now HooXi's going to have to think.
Yeah, you do risk ending it on a sour note if you couldn't close out this, like, you know, huge lead that you had coming into the second half. And in spite of the, you know, losing the pistol, still getting to 12 that quickly. But they have been trying to hammer these A ramp plays. They are getting a little stuck when they are getting to Tetris and filling to scale. The guy on default, the guy under Balk, is causing way too many issues. MIBR are doing a formidable job inside of middle too. So if the Astralis want to be stubborn about it, fine. I think that it feels like they're saying, here's one or two nades that got missed. Here's one trade we definitely would have got. And that's the only reason we lost. Let's try it again. But now we're on fail number 3. I think so. They're also, the money's down now. Now the game officially gets close, and it also does take away, I think, from how decisive this victory could have been, and now they just have to think about winning this the hard way.
Quickly polishing Letney's shoes.
When I see those things in airports, I just think, man, I just want to sit in that chair.
You know what's crazy is, like, usually you walk right by those shoe shining duels and nobody really says anything to you. But the other day I was coming home from Europe and a gentleman working one of them said, hey, like when he was walking by, he was kind of like, he was like pressing people, you know, I get it. He's trying to hustle. He's trying to get his work in.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's just going to go sit in those chairs if you don't ask.
If you don't right? Yeah. So you know, and respect to that, he's asking, and he kind of calls me over. Hey, buddy, I could make those shoes shine. I look down. I'm like, I'm wearing Reeboks. Like, am I allowed
I know,
to?
like, wait, what?
Are you gonna wait? You're gonna scrub my Converse? These are $30 shoes, brother.
Yeah, I don't have a single pair of shoes. I mean, especially not that I'd wear to an airport. That could be shine.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe some like waterproof spray or something.
No.
If you got that, that's all I'd need.
Those suit-bearing, leather-shoed. Who are those people, Mohan?
Be careful with that next word, whatever you were going to call them.
Yeah, I was close. Yeah.
Geniuses.
Corpos.
Oh,
Corpos.
Yuppies.
Non-gamer normies. Quick little pop towards the B site.
Man,
they want you to think
they've stolen
it's actually the boost out middle.
Oh, little scary, but no problem.
Sonny hangs onto the control, drops the nade on FooXi. He's down bad. And still they'll try to make these pistols work. But these frag grenades have been fantastic, actually, out middle. You've seen a lot of deaths to them now. And MIBR, it's a great way to minimize the chances of losing a player if you never give them a peek to fire back at.
Bit of a weird looking map. I mean, they have connector vision. That's actually pretty solid. I mean, they don't. You can get a third guy in window if you want to, but. Ooh. Nice shot for Venom Zera. I think he took a bit of damage right there, too. Double under balcony for HooXi. This is impossible.
Sorry, HooXi. Elusive. 5 players up. 3 rounds away from overtime. Oh, what could have been with those 3 clutches back on the first half for MIBR. It wasn't a convincing T side, but they got enough to give themselves runway here. That's what we needed. The round count comes up. That's just how much of a smashing it was in the first 12 rounds of play from Astralis. Now they're getting a taste of their own medicine, trying to reset economically. And for the first time on this T side, you've got FooXi with the op in hand.
Yeah, they weren't willing to save for this. And because they had this lead, you could tell that they were buying in a certain way and trying to just end it quick. You know, the only question for them is, have they given MIBR over a little bit too much confidence that they can make this comeback real? Has the hope returned?
Clearly a thinking man's round. Repositioned HooXi and FooXi to top middle. You sit and you wait.
This looks like a cool B setup here for MIBR. Bomb wants to get up catwalk. There's like 1,000 ways to die. They're watching this from connector, cat. They have a player inside a B and an op here. MIBR would have to make a big mistake right now.
Up for MIBR, but they try to make a move, and Insani's the first to get toppled. Nicely done. Venom Zera off the cat play. And then Klim turns back to totally deny the B-bomb site. So even if mid cost them one body's all they're going to get. And MIBR have managed to wiggle their way to double digits. Solid CT side, undeniable, and a good setup in that last round to kind of counter the play of Astralis. Walking that op up middle, sure, it gets the opening kill, but the moment FooXi pulls the trigger on that first frag, it is a swarm of rifles to just trade out, take the place of Astralis on cat, and very confident, I think, MIBR to just lean back like that and know when the timing was going to come, when that flood into the T's setup was going to happen. It earns them a 10th round, and there's no shorting MIBR's comeback here. Rock solid CT side, not a bomb plant in the last 6 rounds of play.
Yeah, all the money in the world, and finally, when Astralis try to conjure up a new idea to try to trick them instead of just brute forcing the A splits through middle or just the full A attacks, then they also lose. And so we do reach a point in the game where MIBR, I mean, they're going to be on full alert. They realize they're 2 rounds away now from actually tying this up, and so bring out all your cool ideas. You maybe played with your food a little too long, Astralis, and now your chances are running low too. You've got Jabby on this AK, a hero AK, but not much behind that. Just don't miss this shot, Klim, and the team's in a great spot.
It's a patience game and a big responsibility for Jabby to entry off the trade, but doesn't occur as Klim goes down to the Jabby AK. So that's what you were looking for.
Dry repeat right there.
The Desert Eagle over, and now bench control for Jabby. You've got this B side under pressure. Bomb's a little bit late to the party, but Jabby hits a headshot on VenomZera. This is what they were waiting for. A single AK making a world of difference out of Jabby.
Threw that away, man.
Bruno tries to jump out through the market window. Jabby's got the quad. All they needed. An attack to the B bomb site. And in contrast to MIBR's T side, which tried to hammer this site versus HooXi, they have taken their time and sprinkled in, finally, this commitment at B. Klim hits the kill on the pistol player, loses his head to Jabby, and MIBR's comeback could all be in vain unless LNZ can go big in the 1v4. It is still only one rifle in the hands of Astralis, but that rifle is going to ace to end the game in regulation. Jabby says, enough's enough.
What an insane move from Jabby. And I don't want to take anything away from him, but Klim gave him that read, or very CT-sided. What that means, it just puts more emphasis on the pistol, and I think, and that just inherently is just a little bit more random. And the only thing I would try to assist with on the map is just balancing it slightly more towards the T side, so that, and in a way that doesn't just make one site way easier to hit than the other, like B side is right now. So I just feel like the balance is a little bit off. Little too much emphasis on the pistols, but I love playing BC side Overpass, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, right. You and me and everybody else, brother. Well, Astralis won't have that privilege. Their map pick with MIBRs in their back pocket. So let's see what HooXi's got up his sleeve. What I do expect is just kind of maybe some more fleshed out calls from the get-go, right? With such a big lead after the CT side of Mirage, I do think we saw Astralis kind of rush the effort a little bit. They know it, we know it. They got there in the end off of the X factor of Jabby. So now it's back to kind of like setting the tone of the game and therefore kind of taking this seriously. This opportunity to close out 2-0 in your first game of PGL Bucharest. So they get up long, they get down into the A site, overwhelm it with the smoke grenade. LNZ and Klim had momentarily the 5 versus 3, but HooXi's fire spreads and his Glock connects. Now, Berettas press through those smokes, gets caught. VenomZera thinking he was going to get away with something nasty, instead gets shut down empty-handed, and it's going to have to be the Bruno 1v3 as HooXi's the man with the pistol. 3 kills to his name, and Fuzi's P250 comes in late, doing his best Zywoo impression with the Kevlar P250. Astralis T-side pistol bodes well.
That's going to feel really good for Astralis. And yeah, they won't be able to do Mirage T-side calls where they just phone it in. And they're like, T-ramp is the closest stroke point on any map to be able to rush. Let's just go for it. On Overpass, you have to work for every end. You can just even like take a look at where the T's get to, where the T's get to. The map control cannot be skipped. Unless, of course, you do a B-rush. I will say there is always that option, but it's even coming with a lot of utility.
This right here. Mac-10 jumps right through it. The disrespect. The flying Mac-10 headshot on the solo B defender. Couldn't have found an easier conversion. Send MIBR off long to go and, find some damage in T-spawn by the looks of it. So maybe some of the pistols try to curb Astralis's enthusiasm and early success.
That was pretty well exact. Every smoke flash, Molly landed, and they all were with each other, obviously. Not the most players that they had to run through to get that bomb planted, but definitely the best call they could have made. If they made that a slow round towards A, they could have definitely got to the top. So again, that's what's interesting about Overpass is like it's key call and different timings on it, whether it's rush or later on. Sometimes it feels like a team like PVISION, as a great example, could do that 8 times and a half, and it can work. But over towards A, you only want to pretend that you're really going to go there. You know, you only go there just so that they don't stack B every single round. You'll go there on your anti-ecos just to keep them busy. You know, make sure that Shiro and Donk have something to do while you actually want to go and hit B and B split and take water and rush monster. That's kind of what the map is about.
Really, Overpass is for manipulators and gaslighters, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Is that why you like it so much?
Nah, I didn't say that. Frag grenade lands on the short side. Oh my god, immense damage with the util. That is some beautiful stuff from MIBR. They deserve to win this one, but we'll see if they can close out. Oh, there's damage both ways. HooXi's down to only 26. That is what I'm talking about. Excellent utility for MIBR.
Well, that's a tempo stolen back. That was supposed to be the easier round, but obviously with all the saved guns, it was pretty much the same strength. Lots of money made. AKs handed over. And Astralis are going to be left scratching their heads again. Every time they try to rush versus MIBR, if there's any semblance of a stack, MIBR are the ones who win.
That was beautiful. That nade damage, set them up for success. Made that so much easier. You know, a buy like that, yeah, okay, sometimes 5-7s pop, MP9 gets a low down or something like that. You don't check a corner. What? But that was nade damage cleaned up. And now Jabby wants to try to get this back to where he started.
You would have seen that, yeah.
Oh, he's nasty, isn't he? Oh, Jabby. Triple kill. Just like that, a one-man army rolls through the B site. Brother, he didn't even have anybody directly behind him. There was no trade potential on that. That is Jabby from start to finish. Look, they're laughing their way through MIBR.
It's Jabby and utility because they threw this poofy lurk smoke out monster. No one's actually supposed to go through it. They flashed 3 times perfectly. That is going in that video or something. They flashed so perfectly to get him out through the pillar, around the pillar, get the kill, and even give him an extra time to line up his kill towards headshot. He's very well supported right here. Fully blind, sees that. Take your time with it. So easy. All HooXi, baby.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous round back and forth. MIBR won't be too happy about that one, but luckily because they had a stolen outcome themselves, it is an easy buy for the op of Klim. We want to see that Klim Insani impact right back from what we did on Mirage CT side. Got to tap into it here and now. But yeah, that's 2 very fast, very exciting rounds. Who says Overpass is boring?
Yeah, if you play the T side like this, you know, for sure it isn't. It's only half the map. It's only half the map that takes a little too long. I've been trying to think about it, like how to make a site or you know, balloons, bathrooms towards a little bit quicker. That's all. Maybe not even necessarily easier, but options to make it more sped up.
Got a Ryu versus Insani fight for Connector, and the M4 prevails. At the same time, we've got this bathroom walk up by Stair. He could find a timing on Klim, who's rotating into the site.
Very
Insani obviously concerned about it. But yeah, there it is. Klim just kind of runs out into the open. Stair's forward positioning catches it off, and luckily here for Astralis, they've got the bomb working alongside Stair.
Oh, baited. Totally.
Rock solid. Holds it back. And that's going to force MIBR into the save. So just a real fast timing call from Astralis. These are electric Overpass rounds now. 3 rounds in a row.
Can't lie, they're making Overpass T side look good. Now was that walk up through bathrooms, and they threw a player downstairs. He gets killed. That holds their attention. The rotate comes up, and when Klim goes to look at long, they know no one's there. So not only does he get the kill, but since they forced Klim to have to flick in the first place, and that he was worried about this other choke point, that meant they could go even faster towards A. And then HooXi's making all this noise in the bathroom because they are so separated, staggered as they're approaching A. they have someone to watch that flank too. So MIBR were three steps behind, I want to say, in that round.
I wonder if MIBR are ready for a pace this fast. You know, I really thought that I said it in the first round, right? I thought things were going to slow down. We were going to make sure that there's like layers here for Astralis.
And there are, but they're fast.
Yeah, exactly. So, damn, who could have seen this one coming out of the gate? MIBR are going to have to just be able to play catch up in that regard. I imagine it's difficult to kind of get a read on on Astralis when they're playing this quick. You're not ready for it. And Jabby has already found a perfect way to just slot himself down beneath this boost of LNZ. The Venom Zera push up short though. Looks like he's going to come clear this. And that wallbang meant to distract Jabby, but he turns back in time. FOZI's got the kill through the squeaky door. And with that, Insani's just looking for the upgrade, trying to keep these guns in hand for MIBR as the Deagle duels towards Fountain. And that's going to be Klim turned back. There's some damage out on the field, but Astralis just seem that much sharper, even in anticipation of the MIBR push short this time.
No kidding. I mean, yeah, it's just mechanically, I think that was a moment where you normally see MIBR get a kill like that. But Jabby's having a series now, and he's also a mercenary. He's oftentimes working totally alone. He's going to be a hard man to find and a really important target for MIBR. And there is a lot of damage back on LNZ with the one good gun on the rotation. But again, they're using these scouts to figure out what sites to go to.
That boost back up. Little awkward there. That could have caught timing. Still finds it, at least on stair. Jabby going to dump his util from down beneath. Bomb gets picked back up just as Insani tries to go in for it. And Fuzi's going to just make sure that no other shenanigans can happen here, because what remains of MIBR is the low health rifles, and they've got value to save. So they'll tuck tail and walk this away. Astralis, a 5th terrorist round win, 6 rounds into this half.
Couldn't ask for much more. And I mean, I'm really impressed to see that it was CT side of Mirage and now T side of Overpass that is the follow that really shows us how fleshed out that their map pool is right now, and kind of like the quality of play you can get from them when they're playing their best. And I don't mind an impatient Astral. I love the more aggressive teams that go a bit faster. I think it matches what CS2 wants anyway. You take full advantage of these sort of a new way of playing. But even when he ran Copenhagen Flames, you know, on Overpass, it was like he would try the double lurk type of default where it was aggressive, but it was kind of poking everywhere. It wasn't necessarily all just rushes. That wasn't how he ran that team. But he did tailor it to his players. And I think that's going to be the interesting thing to see about how Astralis develop into the future. But I think if you ask these guys, they want to go fast. Gabby played on Heroic, played with HooXi, Stare on Astralis. We know how explosive he is. He was always aggressive, even if he had a few weak days. I think he's the team that wants to move quick.
I'd say like Stare's the one who kind of maybe like evolved into that, but like you mentioned, his explosiveness can tap into the exact ability that kind of suits him. There have been very slow versions of Astralis that he's played on previously as well, and well, look at them go now. This is a team that will be back at the major. This is a team that is constantly now threatening playoffs and also causing upsets. You have to take Astralis seriously in 2026. Right now, Klim's going to try to press up against the bathrooms, but he's missed that first timing of Ryu crossing over. So he's just going to peel himself back slightly as we get these T's getting closer once more. Oh, what?
100-0?
HooXi
Maybe blinded?
Was definitely blind. Looked like he was trying to jump up on top of the barrels to get out of there. Maybe a frag grenade also landed. We'll have to run that back to see, but either way, utility before a gun fires.
Insani's getting into this, though.
Making a move front bath. Ryu's tucked in behind the half wall, so it's going to take Insani a bit more time to find him. He doesn't clear it. Of all the positions not to clear.
Oh,
okay. Oof. Scary. Still Astralis to try to test this B site. They should anticipate a stack. Little awkward barrel fight there for Jabby, and he loses out to Venom Zera. Oh, just keeps the damage pumped out. That's a clean kill on Stair in the background. Goes back for thirds on HooXi. And so very well timed Insani push off the site, or off the bathrooms rather, to get that bomb site bolstered. And Astralis didn't really have the time nor what felt like the desire to deal with the flank, to deal with that compromise. Thought they could brute force their way through, and understandably with the way Jabby has been doing that, but not this time. Astralis, MIBR find their second round in round 7.
It's so rich though. Still, it's kind of annoying here for MIBR. Obviously, they're happy to be on CT side with money, but they also know now they probably gotta chew through another rifle round, even if they win against this one. And FooXi saves the op to make things worse. So no time to rest just yet.
Starting this round with a push off the bomb site. That's that duo in Klim and Insani that our eyes fall on for the firepower, but nothing opened up. A patient move from Astralis, one of the more patient starts to these T rounds that we've seen. Let's go the quicker pace that bode well and put 5 rounds on the board. Gets slowed down slightly here. CT's forced to crawl back out of those opening positions, still sticking around in the bathrooms, but you forego connector. You no longer have party, and Astralis will take this over by the minute mark.
Yeah, a lot rests on Klim to make the right move, and Astralis just need to try to avoid his scope if possible. And it's actually Insani to take a peek out of Divider. That's huge. Stair goes down. There's no one else in vision. A little pressure on Astralis to move more quickly. And for MIBR, they do want to now try to comfortably stack the B site. And they have this right side monster set up. Jabby's gonna peek. Oh, look at both. No way.
Yes, he will. Wants more as well, but there's another couple of CTs here. Op on Klim moving forward. Jabby gets denied by the Opper. Sure, Rio will trade out, but then a press through heaven that Insani opts not to go for. Would have been a dead man with Rio down beneath him. Jabby taps back into the potential we've seen already from the close on Mirage to the opening now on Overpass, and another moment where he just gets roaring through this B defense. And Insani forced to tuck in longer here towards heaven as that bomb's already at the halfway point. And so rock solid stuff from Jabby, being the entry they need here down to the B bomb site consistently.
Genuinely, when Jabby's on point, like, you know, he's a top 20 player. He's one of the smartest players. And the mechanics, and he plays like his interesting style, but the value he adds doing everything sort of by himself, you know, with supportive utility and how comfortable he is on these aggressive lurks, it's such a huge value add to a team like Astralis. And I mean, this round was so lost. They had a double right side monster setup. They had a kill towards A site, bathrooms clear, and everybody rotating down to B. Jabby had to get both. I mean, that just complements the ace that he got, that the other 4K entry that he got. I mean, he's got his name written all over this series so far.
When I see this kind of moment from a Jabby play, it reminds me again that HooXi just kind of gets the best out of everybody in a lot of ways. We talked about FooXi back on CT side Mirage and how he's kind of positioned correctly, but the util setups for Jabby, yes, it banks on his individual play, but you can be that much more confident when you're making moves like this, knowing that your teammates are right behind you. So Astralis, 6 rounds on a T side, making the most of Jabby's performance. And you know what? HooXi's right there too, Mo. 6 frags, 2 deaths, second highest performing player for Astralis. Doing God's work to get this organization back towards playoffs once more. It wind up being another convincing map as we get the FOZI opening on Klim. Not going to be able to make its move. We've seen these attempts already out of MIBR to try to flex forward off the Klim and Insani duo, but it's actually Bruno to bring it back. So that's a monster spam on Jabby, who will have to watch from the sidelines this time around.
They have just missed this smoke so badly, it's not even funny. I don't even know if they know it, but they just have left Monster totally open while Monster's being attacked. CTs, I don't know if they walk into this, but they're probably trusting a smoke that doesn't exist right now.
Oh, man.
Ball master cross.
That is true. Short does belong to the CTs. So now they get smoked off fully. They've completely lost their bomb site. And you've got FOZE finding another one as Bruno sats on the angle. LNZ is going to try to get boosted. He's on 16 health here. 16 health and 6 inches too short to catch that headshot on HooXi, who luckily for LNZ jumps right into the crosshair. That's a bit of a gift given over. Numbers equal.
He's still there.
Just perfect timing. Fell back into the deeper angle, comes back in as Instani inches into it, and that's 3 kills for the op of Astralis, and a save called from MIBR after they forego the bomb site off a missed smoke.
Yeah.
Yikes.
It's minor margins, but for some, 6 inches is everything, Connor.
Very true. Very true. And in this case, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Terrorists win.
Oops.
Bad goes to worse. This is a nice buff to Astralis's already very decent T-side stats on this map. Like, they're taking out extremely good competition and winning hard T-side rounds. But it gets even worse for MIBR when you switch over. I thought there's maybe a chance Astralis have to make a comeback, and they probably will on Overpass. Well, now, and there's almost no hope for MIBR unless they win out here on what is just a half buy with an AK to work with.
That AK right now is alone towards the upper site. Playing divider, but no contesting connector. And HooXi's not going to waste any time taking control of the situation. It's all about LNZ. Oh, down. Got flashed. And then mowed down by HooXi. So the AK hits the ground. We've got an MP9 if we're looking for silver linings here for MIBR. That one's still stationed down to the B site. Feels like Astralis in a round like this. Just going to make sure that they stay postured correctly. Now taking over upper bathrooms. You know, they're still going through all the proper motions this round. They're not skipping protocols. Not the fastest round we've seen. But it feels like right now you can kind of see the jugular exposed with such a lead on the T side of Overpass already. Knowing odds shift even further in your favor once you swap sides. Make sure you could, again, perhaps secure a 10-2 first half. Everybody ready to hit this A site. Execute comes from over top of the long. Again, making sure you go through all the motions, give yourself the best chance with these grenades, and no pistols really stepped into these duels just yet, awaiting Astralis' arrival, which will come down to the wire. 15 seconds on this clock makes it a little weird. Flashbang also finds HooXi blinded. We've got the recovery underway, but it is nothing but banks. Stare is going to have to cut these players off as they try to push down into the bomb, and sure enough, he'll mow down two. Ryu off the plant comes up with the last one, and it's down to the wire, but Astralis know damn well what they're doing here on Overpass and secure an 8th round.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, it's just so fortified every step of the way. I mean, even in a spot like that, they have both players on long are both adequately watching the bomb, as well as making sure no one can push, as well as covering one op shot getting missed with a rifle. Like, they're all being effective in their positioning, and it's not random, you know, and it's not even just smart players. Like, it's stuff that they've talked about, they've practiced, they get tested on when they play against a lot of top teams, which we're used to seeing now with Astralis. They really had to start over with this team, but they've done it in a good way.
Ooh. Jabby little tease on short beat.
They're good shoulder peeks.
Gets the op shot out of Klim. That's going to be information for HooXi to consider. Recalculate. And try to
Klim's kind of been a non-factor here on PT, right? He's been moving when Astralis want him to. He's had to hit a hard shot where it was just too difficult and couldn't. He's kind of been just shoved out of position, like he's not controlling the map like you'd want from your CT offer. Oh, careful.
Yeah. And certainly not like he was on Mirage.
Yeah.
We do get this push out from Insani. If anybody's had some impact throughout these A-holds, it's been him in bathrooms, but doesn't overstep just yet. Now he's going to clear it out. He's heard that FooXi departure.
Ryu's coming back, though.
Yep, connector player looking for it. Ooh, Insani survives the clash. But Barrel's player pops his head up. Bruno's going to pay the ultimate price for that one. And now they still have time to go back to A. Off of this stair, push down long as well. Look at this stair timing. It's all about finding Insani and the 16 health he has left to work with. FooXi's going to finish it off with the Deagle kill. You've already got A site controlled by stair, so his utility is going to totally lock LNZ out of it. And it gets smoked. Even worse here for MIBR as they just get mispositioned, out-rotated, and out-dueled
once again, man. And they go off of damage here. Like, they know Insani's down to 16 health or whatever, and Ryu says, let's just make it back to the other side, because once he kills Ryu, I think Astralis, they have it in their mind. Obviously, we're gonna have to run into a stack now if we want to be. They know exactly what we're gonna do. Plus, they have this potential flank that they can hold over our heads. And even though it takes a long time, you still just have to respect they make the right decision, and they have the protocols in place to try to approach it safely as possible.
Going to show the consistency and the success that Overpass has provided Astralis is no fluke. Rock solid team on this map and kind of flexing that advantage over an MIBR that, again, has never even played non-regional teams on this very map.
Yeah. They're hardly a regional team themselves, though, Connor.
It's true, but yet they still play down in South America, Mohan.
Yeah.
LNZ is sick of these Swedish winters.
They got vlogs. I want to know what this whole lifestyle is like. It's like, yeah, for like LNZ.
If anybody made vlogs and we missed out on the moment, it was, I still would have just loved to have seen the FOZY Rare Atom run.
Yeah.
You know, that's the one I want to see.
That's true. The best is already behind us. We need to hear about those stories.
Oh, that sounded like a nasty shot. Klim dead inside of the bathroom. Pressure on Insani as well inside Con. He's using his util, so they know damn well about him, and Venom Zero wants to try to help him out. Push onto the short B side. That's going to be heard by the Astralis players outside of Monster still. Let the train go by, let the nades fly, and an Insani push, the most active move from any CT we've seen this map, and it gets punished by Stair. As the flash is fantastic, the utility rock solid, and the entries remain consistent here for Astralis throughout this entire T side. This B bomb site has fallen when they decide to take it down, barring that one round where frag grenades were perfectly placed out of MIBR. The third round of play, when their force worked out, gave them one of the two rounds that they have on the board. LNZ catches the bomb planter coming off of this one. HooXi just buys an extra second, but will get swung on. And now we've got LNZ 2 kills into this clutch. Him versus Stair for the final duel of this T side. And a Stair almost falls outside of Monster. Instead, he'll collect his third frag of the round. That is Stair opening up on Klim. That is Stair catching the push of Insani, and Stair there to close. So always ready for Astralis to deliver when he's needed.
It's really table scraps that they're looking for to even get that round. Would have been a nice 1v3 to have, and wisely played and everything like that. But I mean, just for a third CT round, I mean, you're really begging for breadcrumbs right now. If you're MIBR, unfortunately, switching over, you know, the best is behind you. This is just going to be such an unbelievably difficult climb. And all they can hope is that Astralis once again get overconfident and maybe get a little bit lazy. But the problem is that the map just gives them so many natural advantages that even if they are, what's really going to go wrong? I mean, HooXi barely even has to call in this spot. So a pistol could just spell total defeat here, straight out for MIBR. And you got to say, though, just so much credit to Astralis. Every time there was a great kill, there was a flash behind it. Their rotations were good. They never rushed anything like they did on T-side Mirage. And I think I've seen all I need to see to be like this is the better team, and they're by far and away in the lead.
Shame there too for MIBR, because if they had anything going for them, Insani does finish that half 4-0 in successful opening duels.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they had him with that rifle making plays up towards the A site, just unable to capitalize. We'll watch MIBR keep it simple. 5-player rush towards the B bomb site. Back turn by Insani doesn't get fully punished. HooXi does deliver 2 kills though from within that bomb site, so that makes up for the lost efforts of the first player mowed down by the all-in rush. FOZI's just already taking heads off, and now Insani is going to get cleared out by the Heaven push. So an 11th round immediately by Astralis. MIBR's attack banks on nothing but the all-in monster rush. And it was looking like they were going to have man advantage until HooXi decides to pop 2.
No kidding. And there's another opening kill that MIBR can get. But again, you know, that's kind of where the fun stops. So we got the bomb plant. We're going to get a reinvestment. And now they've really got to try to break the spirits of Astralis. They have won actually a few rounds like this where Astralis had just got a little too quick with it. But FooZi said, I'm going for the op right now. Like, we're not going to play any games. I know that they're buying too. So let's just make this as difficult as possible right away.
Yeah, makes total sense, I think, at the scoreline. With the bomb down and the desperate act that is meant to follow. FooZi sitting outside of Divider up towards A, him and Stare. Defenders in that half. And HooXi, no stranger to the jump spot. Make sure that connector stays unoccupied as another smoke is going to keep MIBR at bay for the time being. And another one.
Yeah, that's just like, yeah, I mean, we know you're there, guys. If you want to walk around the map but not throw a nade, spam anything or whatever, we're just going to keep chain smoking this. Like it's our favorite vice.
That's why FOZI loves playing on Astralis, because he used to be on Rare Atom, so he's used to chain smoking in his lifestyle. Venom Zera comes through with one, and Insani gets the next. So there's still something to stand on for this B commitment. Whether you knew it was coming or not, there's a matter of stopping it. And Astralis have failed that part of the plan. Now you've got an op for the retake. They never found Jabby, who has not made a move.
He can literally
perfection to stop that bomb plant on a low health Insani as well. FOZI clips that one, and LNZ, great deagle headshot that had to have been to open up this bomb plant. FOZI knows where you are, but he wants that op for the next round. So Astralis offer a lifeline over to MIBR by just their inability to get kills on the all-in MIBR commitment.
And there we see exactly how, you know, Overpass can work. They didn't have any map control. Astralis knew that they were going to be taking this, and it was right around the 50-second mark or so that FooZi starts rotating over because they have all of A clear. There's literally not enough time to even get back to the A site or through to the A site via A. And so 100% confidence, the rotations start to come through. But because the B site is so takeable, they still stood up against that. We saw Astralis Kaviabi get that double entry towards Monster and run the site over. So there is something about Overpass. It's very CT-sided, but at the same time, a full attack out of Monster with the double entry just wins the round. And again, not the first time that on a lower buy, somehow MIBR can come out ahead against Astralis. And this is even Astralis taking it very seriously with the instant op purchase.
Can you do...
He's never going to miss that smoke.
No.
Not going to happen, MIBR. Going to have to force your way back into the game. Successful in the last endeavor. Pistols freed to stack up inside of the B plate. But that's the opper within it, right? Not one of these like op outside of A solo and then just only pistols B. You got FooZi in the middle of all that.
Well, I think they're right that MIBR are going to go back to what's safe. At least the split is coming in, and they're not just going to oversimplify. But oh no, FooZi's totally leaving.
They all are. Okay.
I wonder if the smoke gets respected or
Took
not.
his peek outside of B, saw nothing because MIBR were a little slower to get there.
I think Astralis are going to start moving back if MIBR take too much time because this smoke is very fresh. Okay, yeah, it's good that they're moving now. Oh, they got some more utility
another
though.
smoke. Just enough space to play with. Somebody's gonna have to try to come get him. He makes his move. Ultimately dies out to Klim, so good cover on that smoke. Felt like Astralis were gonna have to get something desperate going, some sort of a squeeze. And ultimately, rotated the op out of the bomb site to really give the chance back over to MIBR. Now they're gonna win this one with 5 players up, by the looks of things.
They still had that monster smoke come in to, like, you know, buy the full amount of time, like the 18 seconds, but MIBR were pretty smart about blowing it up and just tried to say, if you're going to use this to spread the map and come back, we're going to get in between that and make you regret moving at all. So I think that was just a nice call for MIBR, and I think unlike the last round where they let Astralis full stack the B site, they get the same effect, but they don't allow Astralis to stack.
Terrorists win.
First guy, do right click, he jumps over right side. Second guy, I think so. Do right click, flash up right side. Third guy,
Have to give this one the respect it deserves, just knowing that MIBR came back into the last map too. You know, it's going to be one of those days where if you weren't here for it, Astralis could have absolutely stomped out both these maps. 10-2 halves both times. Pistol on top of it for Astralis, but now legs to stand on. MIBR just going to simplify this one, straight up gun down this B-bomb site. They know they've got the advantage. They'll lose one body in the process, but VenomZera's got you covered. All about keeping that op for FooXi. And he is allowed to depart forward towards the bathroom. So 5th round for MIBR, a T side that is banking off of the back of that forced by victory and has grown off of the opportunity. But you've got Astralis with weapons in the next one, and that is when this, again, could just be taken right back over. So let's see what they do in the gun round, Mo. If they win the next gun round, you've got my interest, MIBR.
The op is going to... Oh. I mean, nothing silly's going to happen there, right? Yeah. No. Okay. Wonder what that could have accomplished. And HooXi just going to go for a tap just to freak him out.
They don't buy. They don't budge. VenomZera with the quad kill. Laps off HooXi's bomb tap. Again, op move forward at least. So that investment FooXi made in round 2 has not come back to haunt them. Would have been scary if either A, gave that over, lets the boon of the economy of MIBR really kick off that much further. But he's managed to hang on to it, which means he's also going to have a good amount of bank.
I mean, whether they want to... Whether they know it exists or not, as long as they don't have to fight it, they don't care. You know, it's like that one lobster that that lives forever. That's solved for immortality. It's just a lobster at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Who cares? That's FooXi right now over on the A site with his immortal op every time that they rush B.
Let's go, boys.
They're not worried about it.
It's funny as it was in position once, but they moved it out of place. So one of those what could have been situations early. Guns back up. FooXi and Stare pushing off the A site. What do they get? Obviously, MIBR know damn well they've got to play this round out properly. You've got to spread the numbers. You've got to go for map control because the Astralis have everything they need to just win the round outright. Can't be skipping protocols. Not when it's more than USPs. So connector taken over quickly here by VenomZera. We had those deep grenades come out from Astralis towards the fountain at least. That's why Insani's low. And that's why that MIBR are going to have to take their time getting closer to the bathrooms. You know there's a threat looming not too far off. But another smoke on Monster. Slowing this one down again. MIBR just constantly smoked out of what has been, what looks to be, this affinity for the B site, as you come to expect with Overpass.
Coming into the lurk. The flash is not good, though. Not good at all.
You can't be doing nades like that. HooXi offers up a flashbang to assist. Ryu from the corner of Monsters got himself the triple. Sure, VenomZera shaves a player off the site, but those flashes were nothing in the face
I mean,
of
it's
Ryu's
not like they
monster
were even
hold.
playing anti back there. They were as wide open as you possibly could be.
Bomb
There's
gets
a lot
scooped
of
up,
faith in
wants to
those
go
working.
towards A, but you've got connector control here for Stare, so he's going to catch VenomZera entirely off guard, and that, my friends, is round 12 for Astralis. So we see the difference between a rock-solid Overpass team and one that can make such small mistakes, but small mistakes that are costly. Ryu, full vision, and Insani better not die after time here. He's still trying to go for this. Oh, wants the op. Fights tooth and nail for it, earns it. Woo! And almost has to fight for his life, but they'll just let each other go. 12-5 secured for Astralis.
It's a small mistake, I think, sometimes if you throw the door smoke on Dust 2 and it doesn't land on top, and then, maybe it creates a gap over top of the smoke that you use sometimes to get a kill, maybe. But like those flashes, you got two guys running in ready to die for you off those flashes. They wouldn't have gone in at all if you didn't throw up. And all they did was make noise.
Okay. Hell of a headshot.
That's through a lot of different materials right there.
He's got a little bit of metal shrapnel, a little bit of wood. It's a dent in the helmet, that's for sure, but still only 15 damage, so VenomZera won't mind too much.
So if the bullet goes through all that, how come they don't have holes in them?
It's a good question.
So
Next update.
okay. Anemograph 3.
Ooh. God, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Smokes come over top. You've got a lot of long control given over this round. Considering the moves we've seen FooXi and Stare make on A site when they were working with less, this is actually pretty empty-handed, but HooXi, that's the kind of rifle work you're looking for. He gets 2 frags before Klim puts an end to him. We're going to get this party flank to deal with Bruno, and so Klim is the last man alive in this MIBR attempt on an Astralis map pick that has looked justified from the get-go. Just another name added to the pile. The body bag stacked high for the Astralis Overpass victories, all in a day's work. Astralis go up 1-0 here for PGL Bucharest. And yes, Mirage got closer, but I think we can chalk that up to some early skip steps by HooXi. Felt like they wanted to rush that victory and were able to